That's it then, the end of another Italian season that of course sees once again Juventus finish top of the table, eventually Inter finishing just 1 point behind the champions, Atalanta and Lazio making up the top four, Roma and AC Milan making do with 5th and 6th, Napoli finishing in 7th. So you think maybe if you're Inter 1 point off Juve at the end of the season, Antonio Conte maybe could put a positive spin on things? No. This is what he had to say. Juventus have an infrastructure both on and off the field that is clearly better than the others. We have to grow and improve in all areas, including off the field, and a big club should protect its players more. We had to eat dung for months and got zero protection. My problem is that I have a vision. I see the path we have to take and I know what we need to do. I saw the other day an interview with Luciano Spalletti gave at Inter in 2017. We're now in 2020 and nothing has changed. If you don't learn and keep making the same mistakes, then that's just crazy. I want to be absolutely clear that I'm not talking about the transfer market or the players. Gab Marcotti is with us. Gab, what on earth is he talking about?
I don't know, because this is typical Conte, right? And then he makes it clear he's not unhappy with the transfers. He's not unhappy with the players. He doesn't say what he's unhappy about, but he leaves plenty of little hints. So, for example, the other thing that he came out and he said is, this was on Italian television, immediately before him, Beppe Marotta, the club's chief executive, who of course had been his chief executive at Juventus as well, he came out and he talked about how the club had grown, how they're still ambitious, what a great season, they all pulled together, blah, blah, blah. And he comes out and he says, well, some people are starting to now want to jump on the bandwagon, on the winner's bandwagon. And obviously a normal person looking at this is going to make an inference to the guy who just spoke before him. He talked about how he's got things to say and he wants to talk to the president. But of course the president is in China, so how is he supposed to speak to him? Because of course, implying on the fact that Mr. Zhang, who owns the club, the dude lives in China. Not his fault. Why would he want to be in Europe where there's a pandemic going on? This is typical Conte. And then he goes out and he says, we're going to have to evaluate things at the end of the season. I'm going to lay out everything that's wrong. We'll see what happens. We've all been here before. We've seen this before from him. It happened at Juventus. It happened with the Italian national team. It happened at Chelsea. And I think what's frustrating to a lot of people is that, hey, look, they're playing Getafe on Wednesday in the Europa League. I know it's only the Europa League, but it's a chance for Inter to win some European silverware, which of course they haven't won since Jose Mourinho's time. And he goes out and he says stuff like this. And, inevitably you're gonna question, how is the club supposed to react to this?
How is it going to react? How likely is it that Conte is in charge next month?
Well, that's what they've debated. Were this a different club, you would probably say, okay, the club might have a word with him and say, hey, Conte, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Because you're basically throwing your employers and your owner, the guy who pays your salary, the guy who pays you your 11 million a year net, you're throwing these guys under the bus. Now, that's not going to happen at Inter, most likely, because he's got another 2 years left on his contract. He's one of the highest paid managers in the world. And Inter can't simply afford to go and eat his contract like they ate Spalletti's contract that they're still paying for today. So the reality is they're stuck with it. Another option could be Conte's so fed up that he quits. He's done that before, obviously. He quit at Juventus. Let me refresh your memory about what he said then. He's like, working at this club is like you want to eat in a €100 a head restaurant, but you only have 10 euros in your pocket, which of course the club didn't appreciate. That ended up with him walking out. I don't think he's going to walk out. I think it's going to be another uneasy summer. It's going to be a summer of tension. If Inter sign big name players, Conte is going to think in his head, it's because I threw my toys out of the pram, and they'll be with him next season. And because he's a good coach, maybe they'll win something. But I think statements like these make Conte difficult for other clubs to employ going forward.
Of course. Meanwhile, let's move away from Inter and look at the other big takeaways from the season. Ciro Immobile, of course, with that goal yesterday, equaling the all-time goal-scoring record held by Gonzalo Higuain. Meanwhile, you had Atalanta scoring more goals than any other club has scored since 1951. And Zlatan becomes the oldest player in the history of the league to score over 10 goals. For you, Gab, your big takeaway? It's hard, I know, to sum it all up in a few sentences, but still.
Well, Ciro Immobile, not just Serie A's top goal scorer, not just equaling Higuain's record, he's also won the Golden Boot, top goal scorer in Europe. It's the third time he's been the top goal scorer in Serie A. I think he's had a ridiculously good season, and it's a testament to him because he's had some hard times as well. Atalanta, we've praised them all season. What they've done is otherworldly. I hope some people can learn from it. As for Zlatan, 38, 10 goals a season. It's Zlatan. As he's told us many, many times, these Nordic Viking superhero, half man, half wolf people, they never grow old. So he's still good for 10 goals a season. That's pretty remarkable. In half a year, by the way.
And he'll be at AC Milan next season, Gab?
It's certainly looking that way. And look, I've sat on the fence about whether this is actually a good idea. Hopefully, if you're Milan, you can load his contract up with all sorts of appearance-related and bonus-related stuff. If you're Zlatan at this stage of your career, you really shouldn't care about money. You should care about respect. You have respect. You have the opportunity to play in a city you love at a club that loves you right now. So maybe that should be more important. Maybe go to the club and say, hey, some of the money you save on my wages, use it to get me some talent around me.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.